Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today I'll be covering, is it worth playing, starting, continuing to play Rise of Kingdoms in 2025? And it's not that easy of a question because there's a lot of different topics here. There is spend level, there is, how much hours are you willing to put in? Because at the end of the day, right, if you're saying, oh, I can't play because of spend level, but you're willing to put 8 hours a day into farming, that's not an issue. You can deal with that. 8 hours a day creating farms, farming, barb chaining, etc. All these things can overcome money. But with that said, a lot of people have a life where they are, you know, they are working, they have family, they have friends that they have to go see, and maybe they aren't fortunate enough to have, say, a remote job that they can do some of these things, right? And if you're stuck in that 9 to 5 and you get home, you may not want to go barb chain for 6 hours just to get then prepare mentally to go have a war for 3 days and not sleep for 2 days, right? Like there's a lot of different drain on your time and your mental health. So with that said, you have to consider, are you willing to put that in? Now, another topic here that lets you get away with this is evaluating where you want to play, what seed you want to play. For instance, I couldn't dream of playing in a Imperium kingdom. The requirements for them are immense. The time requirements, not to mention if, you need the resources, speed ups, the money requirements. I couldn't fathom doing that. However, I can fathom and I do enjoy playing B seed kingdoms. So that's what I do, right? I'm often in high B kingdoms, or I have been at least, and that's where I kept my kingdom. And I have a great time playing those KVKs because the seeds aren't as draining as some of these A seeds, and higher, right? And with that comes less time used, less money used, less resources, speed ups, etc. So once you've figured out what seed you're able to play at, or if there is one that can accommodate your needs, you can properly adjust, I suppose, to deciding if it's worth playing. If you don't want to play in a BC that you don't think that'll be fun for you, and only being the best of the best in Imperium is going to be fun for you, which some people are like that. Some people only want to be the best. Then it's not worth playing. You can't do it. Or you could spend the money, right? And that's the other half of this, is you can devote an immense amount of money to overcoming some of these issues of lack of time, lack of energy, lack of resources, whatever. You can easily get by with throwing $400 into tech. And that's not even much, right? But $400 into tech, and maybe $100 towards the resources, $50 towards the speed ups of just chaining, and also, of course, right, you have to do a little bit of chaining and stuff. But if you're in a decent kingdom that's spending as you would be in this situation, you're going to be fine just getting those things. So with that said, you can get by if you want to just throw money at it. So once you've evaluated how much you're willing to put in, you can properly evaluate what you need to make it worthwhile, right? And that's kind of the point here. Once you know what's worth it, you can make these decisions. And part of it is also being comfortable with where you're at. If you are someone who's just, hey, I'm totally not competitive, I have no interest in KVK even, which is a percentage of the population. Every kingdom has at least a few players that are dead weight and are like that. You can do that and just be comfortable getting zeroed or finding a dead kingdom and going there, right? I don't subscribe to that. I don't think I would ever touch this game, nor would most of us. If we weren't playing for competitive nature of it. But some people do, and that's totally valid if that's you. Just don't be in a kingdom because don't be in a real kingdom because you're really hurting them. But that, again, that's a different topic. In terms of, is it worth to play this game, once you figure out your spend level, once you figure out what you're willing to put in, once you figure out what you want to get out of the game, if it's 4 hours a day of mindless fun, you can get that for basically no cost. If it's 1 hour a day of mindless fun, understand that you're going to be a low tier player in a meaningless kingdom or be zeroed. And that may decrease the value of your worth, right? Because you can go play, any FPS game and get all the dopamine in 6 minutes. And that's kind of a point here, right? Is when you choose to play 4 hours of Rise of Kingdoms, you're choosing not to play 4 hours of something else, or not to work another 4 hours of overtime, etc., etc. These different things, right? It's all give and take. So, with that said, this is just my brief little take on this. I think it is just always valuable to get that little reminder of, hey, there is life outside of this. Is it worth continuing? For me, I had to take a break because of this, because real life really put a pressure on it and I couldn't keep both up financially. So I decided for myself to take a little break, help with real life stuff, And once that was over with, I suppose is the word, then I shifted back towards, playing the game again because my commitments were different, were accommodating to the game. So with that said, I hope you found some value in this video. If you have any questions or ideas you'd like to see me make content on, do leave a comment. I'm always responding and willing to read these. I've taken videos from them before in recent history. I think 2 weeks ago I did on the burnout video. And hopefully you enjoyed this, and leave a like and subscribe for more daily content. I'll see you tomorrow.